6:45. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here is the news edited by Lal Mallavarachi and read by J. Yogaraj. First, the headlines. The Parliament will convene today to accept the nominations for the vacant position of President. The acting President says that he will work tirelessly to set up an all-party government. The revised bus fares will be released today. Vehicle owners are told to register online for QR pass. News overseas are warnings of a heat wave in parts of France. In sports, Sri Lanka in command with 333-run lead against Pakistan. And those are the headlines. The Parliament will convene today at 10 a.m. to accept the nominations for the vacant position of the President. But this time, it has already been said that several candidates will come forward. So if that happens, a poll will have to be held. The Parliament Media Unit says if only one parliamentarian's name is proposed for the presidency and confirmed, the Secretary General of the Parliament will announce today itself that the relevant member has been elected by the Parliament for the vacant position of President. Accordingly, it will be marked as a new experience in the parliamentary history of this country. The Secretary General of the Parliament will act as the returning officer on the date fixed to hold the election for President by Parliament. If elected as President, a prior written consent is required stating the intention to hold office. Every member of Parliament who intends to propose a member of Parliament to be elected for the vacant position of President must first obtain the written consent of that member of Parliament stating his or her intent to serve in the office of President if the member is elected. Acting President Ranil Wickremesinghe says that he will work tirelessly to set up an all-party government. He added that it is important to bring the country forward with the support of everyone. The country could be brought to a better position by next year. In a special statement, Acting President Wickremesinghe explained that when he took over as Prime Minister on the 13th of May, the economy had collapsed, with the power cuts lasting 5 hours a day. In the 2 months since then, the acting president explained that the power cuts had been reduced to 3 hours a day. Fertilizer has been provided to the farmers and the gas shortage in the country has been solved. He said diesel stocks have been secured and are being distributed, and from Thursday, petrol will also be distributed. He also said that relief was being provided to the citizens of the country who are struggling with the economic crisis. The acting president stated that the loans taken by paddy farmers who have planted fields less than 2 acres have been cancelled. While due to the drop in the world oil prices, the fuel prices in the country have also been reduced. He said negotiations with the International Monetary Fund were nearing completion and the discussion for assistance with the foreign countries was also progressing. Acting President Wickremesinghe also said that due to the incomplete nature of the Easter Sunday investigation, he is requesting the assistance of the UK government and their intelligence services. He said the current political crisis in the country is due to the executive presidency and the 19th Amendment would be reintroduced, which would address many of the concerns of the public. Mr. Wickremesinghe further stated that the peaceful protest who had legitimate concerns would be engaged by the government and solutions would be found for them. But he called upon the political parties in the country to put aside their differences and not to allow the country to suffer differences over an individual. He urged them to come forward and to form an all-party government which would allow the country to recover from the economic crisis. This news comes to you from Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The Minister of Transport, Bandula Gunawardene, has instructed the National Transport Commission to reduce bus fares in proportion to the reduction in the fuel prices. Accordingly, the Minister has directed the NTC to reduce the bus fares with effect from tomorrow, while the revised fares will be announced today. The Ceylon Petroleum Corporation and Lanka Indian Oil Company had reduced fuel prices on Sunday. Meanwhile, the two major associations representing private bus operators in the country, the All Ceylon Bus Operators Owners Association and Lanka Private Bus Owners Association, have also expressed willingness to reduce the bus fares by 4% in line with the revision of the fuel prices. Litro Gas Lanka said that it has received another shipment of cooking gas last night. The chairman of the Litro gas company, Mudita Piri, said that 3,309 metric tons of gas had arrived in the country. He adds that the samples of gas have been sent for analysis and that the litro plans to commence unloading gas at present. Meanwhile, the second shipment of urea fertilizer, which will arrive in Sri Lanka under the Indian Loan Assistance Scheme, will reach the country within the next 2 weeks. The first stock is now being distributed to farmers through the Sri Lanka Commercial Fertilizer Company and the Agrarian Service Centres at present. The fuel crisis has imposed many issues for the distribution of fertilizer. The Ministry of Agriculture is expected to purchase more fuel directly from Ceylon Petroleum Corporation. The police says that investigations are being carried out regarding the social media posts threatening members of parliament. Persons who are creating these posts are being identified with the support of the Ministry of Defence. Legal action will be taken against them. Investigations will be carried out by the Computer Crimes Division, which is controlled by the CID. And that's local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The Power and Energy Ministry said that the fuel will be issued on a permit basis and stressed that waiting in queues anymore after the online registration process is done will be redundant. Vehicle owners can register for the National Fuel Pass for obtaining QR code for fuel. Owners are advised by the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation to visit www.fuelpass.gov.lk website using a mobile phone or a computer to obtain the National Fuel Pass. By providing the national ID number or passport number, the chassis number and the engine number of the vehicle for receiving the QR code related to the permit. Information of only one vehicle can be entered from one phone number. Therefore, a person who owns two vehicles should do the relevant registration through two telephone connections. And that's top news.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Moving on to Watchlight, National Dengue Control Unit Director Dr. Sudat Samaravira announced yesterday that 65 high-risk dengue medical officers of health divisions have been identified from all over the country. This includes 17 MOH divisions from the Colombo district, 13 from Gampar district, 6 from Kalutara district, 6 from Kandy district, 2 from Gaul district, 2 from Mathura district, 1 from Hambantota district, 2 from Jaffna district, and 1 from Batticaloa district. And that was Watchlight. Moving on to world news headlines. First, warnings of heat wave in parts of France. Ukraine war, 6 die in the shelling as new assault looms. Ghana confirms first cases of deadly Marburg virus. And those are the headlines. Western France is facing a heat wave. Experts have warned an extreme temperature continue to hit much of Europe. Temperatures could reach record levels in 15 regions of the southwest, with firefighters battling wildfires and thousands forced to evacuate. Blazes in Spain, Portugal and Greece have forced thousands more to flee. Record temperatures are also expected in parts of UK, which has its first ever red extreme heat warning in place. 6 people have been killed in shelling in an eastern Ukrainian town as Russia eyes its next major offensive. 5 bodies were found in the rubble of a house in Toretsk in the Donetsk region, while another person died in hospital, emergency services said. The Ukrainian military said Russia appeared to be regrouping for an offensive towards the nearby Sloviansk. The city was captured in 2014 by pro-Russian separatists who held it for nearly 3 months. Ghana has confirmed its first 2 cases of the deadly Marburg virus, a highly infectious disease in the same family as a virus that causes Ebola. It says both patients died recently in hospital in the southern Ashanti region. Their samples came back positive earlier this month and have now been verified by a laboratory in Senegal. And that's world news. In development news, the school meal program, which was successfully conducted by providing lunch to 180,000 children in 7,925 schools in Sri Lanka for nearly 30 years is not functioning properly due to the inflation in the country. The Education Ministry has taken steps to use the donation of 10,000 metric tons of rice from China for the food program. The second stock of rice by China, amounting to 1,000 metric tons, was handed over by the Chinese ambassador to Sri Lanka to the Education Ministry Secretary recently. And that was development news.
Sports News is brought to you by
Sampath Bank. We present your future.
Sri Lanka scored 329 for the loss of 9 wickets at the close to be in a commanding position after the third day's play in the Test cricket. The first Test match against Pakistan played at Galle International Cricket Stadium yesterday. Dinesh Chandimal, the informed middle-order batsman, once again among the runs, scoring an unbeaten of 86 in 121 balls with 5 fours and 2 sixes, while opener Oshada Fernando scored 64 in 125 balls with 6 fours and a 6. Kusal Mendis added a fine knock of 76 in 129 balls with 9 fours to build a Sri Lankan innings to pass the 300 mark, and overall Sri Lanka had a 333 runs lead with 1 wicket in hand with 2 days to spare. And that was sports news.
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSP U Trust.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Sri Lanka's tea prices rose sharply in the July first week auction, with the low-grown Ceylon tea prices rising to 1,557 rupees and 90 cents a kilogram from the previous week's record 1,507 rupees a kilogram, industry data showed. In the last week's auction sale on July 6th, low-grown averaged to $4.33 a kilogram, up from $3.11 a year earlier. And that was Business News.
Business News, sponsored by
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSP U Trust.
Economic news, courtesy of...
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Sri Lanka will have to manage imports with available inflows instead of depending on bridging finance, Central Bank Governor Nandalal Veerasinghe said, as high interest rates and slowing private credit as well lower disposable incomes from inflation slowed imports. Sri Lanka is hoping to get an International Monetary Fund program after August, which will allow the government to borrow from agencies like the World Bank and the Asian Development Bank or Japan. Foreign funding will generally drive up spending the imports unless sterilized to build reserves. And that was economic news.
LOLC Finance is taking the power of innovation to the next level, winning 5 golds at the Technovation Awards 2022, leading the digital revolution with cutting-edge interbanking digital payments. LOLC Finance claims the overall gold award whilst also claiming an extraordinary victory in digital banking. LOLC Finance will continue to innovate with the next generation digitalization of financial services, delivering a superior customer experience.
Finally, in the weather report, the Met Department says several spells of showers will occur in western, Sabaragamu and northwestern provinces and in Nuwara, Kandy, Galle and Madura districts. Showers or thunder showers will occur at several places in Uva, eastern and north central provinces and in Mullaitivu district during the afternoon or night. Strong winds about 40 to 50 kilometers per hour can be expected at times in southern province. And that was weather report. And to wind up this news podcast, let's look at the main points once again. The Parliament will convene today to accept the nominations for the vacant position of President. The acting president says that he will work tirelessly to set up an all-party government. The revised bus fares will be released today. Vehicle owners told to register online for QR pass. News overseas, warnings of heat wave in parts of France. In sports, Sri Lanka in command with 333-run lead against Pakistan. And with that, we conclude this morning news broadcast of Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.